Hello, everybody. My name is Has Bilyadi, and this is the first episode podcast of Obsertelligence. And we have a special guest with us today to talk about the future of data science and automation in the energy sector. So this podcast will primarily be focusing on the future of data science and automation in the energy sector. And I have a special guest with me, as I said today, Dr. Soroush, and I'm going to read his bio first, and then we have some exciting questions that we're going to go over today. I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, so Dr. Soroush is an internationally recognized geomechanics expert with more than 25 years of experience in different applications of rock mechanics in the oil and gas, geothermal, and carbon storage spaces. He has conducted and managed more than 250 consulting and research projects worldwide. Hamed is currently the CEO of Petrolern LLC, providing strategic planning, leadership, and technical support for geomechanics and subsurface research and consulting projects. Prior to that, he held several positions with companies such as Dong Energy, Shell, PDVSA, Weatherford, Synergy, GMI, and CSRO, and TSL, along with 3 years of experience serving as assistant professor. His current technical focus is on sustainable development of unconventional resources, geothermal energy, and carbon storage projects with advanced geomechanics analysis. Dr. Hamed holds a BS in mining engineering, an MS in rock mechanics, and a PhD in petroleum engineering from Curtin University in Australia. He has published 3 technical books and numerous journal and conference papers. Ahmed has given different industry courses for Petrolern, SPE, AAPG, and EAGE, and has been committee member for several SPE conferences and workshops. He has been selected as the SPE Distinguished Lecturer 3 times in 2012, 2017, and 2020. With that being said, we're honored to have you in this first podcast with us, Dr. Hamed. And I just wanted to, go over a list of questions that I prepared to kind of see your vision, your strategic vision in terms of the future of data science in the energy space. Okay, so with that being said, let's get started. Are you excited?
Yes, of course. Thanks, Haas, for this interview on a topic which is interesting and very hot these days. So I hope we can shed some light on many gray areas and concerns exist on this topic. So yeah, I'm ready for it. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. So the first question that I have is, what is your overall vision for the data science field within different industries first? And then we'll focus on the energy and the oil and gas industry.
Sure, very, very nice flow. So you probably have heard this famous quote that data is the new oil. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe on this because data is really, really valuable, but if collected and refined completely and accurately, exactly like oil. So by increasing the volume of data acquired by human being, and of course, advancing data acquisition technologies, in different industries, not just oil and gas, the importance of sciences that basically help us to QC, classify, manage, process, analyze data in order to basically extract the maximum meaningful information from them is more pronounced, especially those data with complex, multi-dimensional, non-homogeneous nature, where deterministic methods typically fall short. So yes, I believe in near future, every and each human must be to some extent skilled in using data science to be able to function in their job or even their daily life.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think this is one of the topics that everybody has been talking about, and we have some more in-depth questions about those. We're going to start very broad and then hone in kind of like in more depth and like in more detail about this topic. So now that we talked about the overall vision in different industries, what's your vision for specifically for the oil and gas industry?
Okay, so there are tremendous amount of data in the oil and gas industry generated by different tools, sensors, etc. So the importance of data science is obvious here, right? There's no doubt about it. There are thousands of applications out there that data science can potentially help with. However, there are a lot of expertise going into this data in different domains to make them meaningful, right? This makes it almost impossible for pure data scientists with no domain expertise to achieve any meaningful results, is what I believe. Mm-hmm. And I've been personally involved in peer reviewing some of the results developed by these pure data scientists, which were actually very discouraging. I've also seen domain experts using very basic data science tools to solve complex problems that we are facing, mm-hmm. and it's also as discouraging. Mm-hmm. So let me give you a simple example. You might agree or disagree with me, but artificial intelligence, machine learning, these are all tools. And I always simply compare them with screwdrivers, right? Might be funny, but no, I usually use this in my courses. So you give a screwdriver to a car mechanics, it fixes your car, right? You give it to an electrician, it fixes your electronics. But you cannot give the screwdriver to electricians basically and ask them to fix your car, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to say is that knowing a tool even perfectly is not enough to use it for different applications, mm-hmm. because it's not the tool doing the job. It's the domain expertise combined with the knowledge and skill how to use that tool. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, going back to the oil and gas industry, the challenge is that the type of the screws we work with in the oil and gas industry are not standard, right? Meaning that in most cases, we need to manufacture customized screwdrivers to be able to fix our problems. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In other words, we are typically facing challenges that we do not have customized data science tools for them. Mm-hmm. This is when a pure data scientist can play a major role and develop tailored algorithms under supervision of domain experts still. Mm-hmm. I personally think that data science has been kind of oversold to the oil and gas industry. Some data scientists are generating meaningless results, causing the industry to slowly lose its trust on these tools. On the other side, many oil and gas people are taking some basic online courses, get a certificate in Python, and oversell themselves as data scientists, and then try to apply basic algorithms to solve basically all type of problems in the oil and gas industry. Mm-hmm. So you see, there is currently a big human resources issue mm-hmm. that prevents taking full benefit of data science capabilities in improving decision-making and analysis of complex data sets mm-hmm. In oil and gas industry. Mm-hmm. I strongly believe that a combination of pure data scientists and domain experts with knowledge of data science is the best choice to reliably and effectively apply these tools to the oil and gas industry problems. And is exactly what we are doing at Petrolern right now. We are putting subsurface experts with good knowledge of artificial intelligence in the same room with data scientists that basically probably don't know anything about our domains. They're from computer science or electrical engineering background. But these people can sit together and identify use cases, mm-hmm. right? Identify challenges, mm-hmm. and architect customized solution for them. Mm-hmm. This is why we have been very successful actually in providing practical and sensible solution to several subsurface challenges that our clients were facing.
I see. Yeah, I would have to totally actually agree with you on this. I think, like as you alluded to, we're kind of lacking, like when like a lot of companies hire like pure data scientists without any domain expertise in that field, and then they ask them, they kind of challenge them with solving complex problems, and then the result is pretty bad, and then they kind of come back and say, oh well, is really machine learning working or not? Well, I think the question is not about whether machine learning is useful or not. It's just the question of what kind of domain experts you combine with the data, with statistician to come up with a result.
Exactly.
So that's a major problem, I think.
Exactly, Horst. You don't believe how many companies we talk to on a daily basis that they hang up phone on us when we talk about data science, because they just don't like it, because they have bad experience with exactly people that you pointed. It is a risk to the oil and gas industry, because a lot of companies, they're losing their trust on the capability and value that data science can bring to their operations.
Yeah. And I always tell people that before you start talking about how great this project is going to be, I always recommend do a pilot project. I call it nail it and then scale it. Nail the concept.
Good point.
Prove the concept first. Then once the concept is proven, then you can go and scale the project. I think a lot of people just want to scale the project from day one. It doesn't work that way. There are systematic steps that you got to take before you scale a project from 0 to 10. So I think it's very important, as you alluded to first nail the concept, prove the concept, talk about the value proposition. Like a lot of people also I think forget to talk about the value proposition. What is the value of this project? For example, you say, well, if I do this, it's going to cause this much automation, I can save this much money for the company. People don't talk about value proposition. They just, oh, this is great, you can predict it and this and that, but then what's the value proposition, and how much does it cost the company to develop such a machine learning project to apply? So I think it's very important to really be realistic and set those expectations from day one to kind of almost eliminate over expectation of a project.
Exactly, and it's exactly what I call it, overselling, right? Yeah. So I didn't mean that data science doesn't have value, but it means that is oversold, and a lot of people try to solve problems that doesn't really require data science. Now there are simple problems that we solve them on a daily basis with the methods that we have. So the reason is that they cannot identify the value proposition, exactly as you said. So there's a good thing about domain expert. They know what are the problems. They can identify the challenge that can be addressed by data science.
Sure. Okay. So with that being said, let's move on to the next question. So I know you guys have been working on, multiple funding projects that you guys have received from DOE, Department of Energy. And I guess my question is, can you elaborate a little bit on a high level, like about these projects and what you guys are working on now?
Yes, sure. Actually, most of the R&D projects that we are conducting, regardless if it is Department of Energy funded or internally funded or by industry, they are heavily involved with advanced data science and analytics. One of our major projects aims at enabling real-time subsurface monitoring and decision-making using data compression and physics-based, artificial intelligence. This technology, after commercialization, has the potential to completely change how oil and gas fields are operated in future. It's all about getting quick access to the data, quick processing, and getting the result, getting the monitoring, basically subsurface image and monitoring results as soon as possible, getting alerts from sensors and data that we are receiving about any risks which is associated with subsurface basically operations, including EOR, including production from oil and gas. And specifically, this project has been basically defined to address subsurface monitoring of carbon storage sites. So we are also developing algorithms that can predict operational risks, such as lost circulation during drilling, frac screen out, frac hit during stimulation, several minutes ahead of their occurrence. So we have enough time to either mitigate it, prevent it, or kind of deal with them. These technologies have potential to substantially improve safety on site while saving millions of dollars for the operators for each operation, actually. We have also developed a combined signal processing and machine learning. It's actually one of our strengths. We use signal processing, we use machine learning, and we have integrated it in these two set of tools to basically do a lot of optimization and processing on oil and gas data. So this combined methodology enables developing real-time geomechanical and wellbore stability models for drilling without requirement for expensive wireline logs or LWD. So there are several intervals that we don't really have logs to develop geomechanical models. There are sections like in the reservoir, geomechanics usually require more expensive type of logging, like dipole logs, sonic logs that are really important for geomechanics, and companies don't really want to spend that much money for geomechanics. So this is the value proposition of this work, that we do geomechanical modeling without logs. This technology has gained a lot of interest and in the industry, and will drastically improve drilling operations and keep them on time and budget. I mean, the drilling operations.
Yeah. No, these sound really exciting projects you guys are working on. So are you guys at a kind of early stage, or are you guys kind of at a final stage of these projects?
Depends. Actually, our predictive codings are very close to be commercialized. The subsurface monitoring is a huge project, and we are in the phase 2 of DOE funding. So probably we are 1 year away of having the product ready for market. And our geomechanical, basically, geomechanical analysis using, without logs is kind of ready. We probably start advertising them in a few months from now, or early next year, when we do some field testing on them. So yeah, so they're in different stage of development.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to see what you guys have in the store.
Thank you.
That'll be exciting. Okay, now I'm gonna make a quick twist here and go to a slightly different topic and talk about the data science field. Do you think is it crowded? Do you see a lot of opportunities? In the next few years, regardless of the hype that we see. What are your general thoughts about that?
Yeah, it's actually a very good question, and it brings up one of the challenges that I think data science will face in future. Let's stay focused on the oil and gas industry, right? As I already mentioned, I believe the industry is currently crowded. That's true, but it's crowded with certificate holders with minimum knowledge of data science. It's not crowded, but with really skilled and experienced data scientists. People who are only looking for attractive titles change their titles accordingly and try to sell themselves to the industry. I call them title hunters. And there are a bunch of them out there. And I remember like 10 years ago, a lot of these people were holding, title as geomechanics specialists, because geomechanics was very attractive. There was a lot of job out there. And as soon as, data science became attractive, they changed the title to data scientists, right? This group of people will not survive in the industry for long. And very soon, we will feel the shortage actually in resources who can efficiently apply data science to the oil and gas industry. We will soon be in need for properly trained data scientists who can interact well with subject matter experts from geoscience and engineering, So yes, the data science field is currently crowded, but with disqualified people, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. So you're saying even though it's currently crowded, there are a lot of disqualified people, and as a result, actually there's a lot of opportunities for people that are actually qualified and
Exactly,
understand
exactly.
the problem very well, which is a very interesting like observation that you have. Okay, that's
Because a lot of people are getting discouraged by looking at LinkedIn, searching for data science, and find thousands of people in the industry. So they might get the point that okay, it's not a field with opportunity for us. No, it is. If you really want to master yourself in the domain that you're working on and in data science, there are a lot of opportunities out there.
I got you. Okay. Wow. That's very interesting answer. Okay. That's good. And then the next question is, I think you've probably touched on this earlier, but what's been the most common mistake when applying machine learning within the oil and gas industry specifically,
Okay, in a short sentence, I would say using purely data-driven approaches without proper science to constrain it. In addition, I believe off-the-shelf data science tools cannot solve all the problems. And even those out-of-the-box solutions out there are not always suited for the type of problems that we want to solve, right? A lot of work, I believe, a lot of work needs to be done to find a topology working with our specific data. So that's where differentiation from, generic data scientists and a specified or a specialized data scientists basically start.
I see. Okay. So you do see some one of the common mistakes, as you said, I think before, was not combining domain experts and data scientists, right? And then this
Exactly.
one. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Using data-driven approaches without proper science. Science is domain, right?
Right. Got it. Okay. And then the next question is, do you think the role of bigger companies are more important than smaller companies? Or I guess, do you think that like the smaller companies have the same edge in terms of getting ahead, or not really? Do you think, that bigger companies are way ahead and it's kind of hard to catch up with them?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. And you might get actually different answers from different people you interview, but I think we need both. Big companies, they have more resources, they have power to push the boundaries, right? Small companies, however, are places that innovative entrepreneurs and smart people get together. So they are more focused on the applications and making sure that data science tools basically are widely used in all industries and all type of applications. For example, at Petrolern, we are very focused on the subsurface monitoring applications, right? Specifically for carbon storage, as I mentioned. Is a domain that big data science companies like Amazon, like Microsoft, Google, etc., will never get involved because they don't have domain expertise. Now, another company is really focusing on applying data science to geochemistry, to chemical engineering, right? To environmental science, right? Big companies cannot cover basically all type of applications, all domains, but small companies, because the number of them are 100 times more than big companies, they can cover different applications and domains, I believe.
I see. That's a very interesting point. So they can cover, some specific topics that bigger companies are usually not honing in on.
Exactly. I know companies, they're just focused on a very small field, which is very important, but basically many people even don't see that challenge, right? And the whole company is just trying to solve that problem. Is very interesting, And I don't think if big companies can really cover these specific fields to provide solution to.
I see. I see. Now that's very interesting observation. Okay. Okay. And then since we talked about some of the big companies like Amazon and Microsoft, what are your thoughts on cloud computing and edge computing and their
Mhm.
significance in the oil and gas industry?
Yeah, it's actually very relevant to our activities at Petrolern. And right now there are a lot of focus on the cloud computing, as you know,
Hmm.
which is, I mean, quite helpful. However, to enable real-time decision making, uh, now is very important in oil and gas application because we are dealing with risk and we want to identify and mitigate this risk in real time before it's too late. And in other fields, I mean, I think it is as important. For real-time decision making, edge computing will become increasingly important.
Hmm.
Is the focus of our real-time subsurface monitoring project right now to do majority of the data cleaning at the edge to save time on processing, right? We have also developed a novel data compression technology that compress the data at the sensor location to make the data collection, transmission, and processing as quick as possible.
Hmm.
So yeah, cloud computing is good, but I think to close the basically data decision making loop,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
To close this loop, we need to do majority of the computation, the processing at the edge to make the process as fast as possible.
I
The
see.
more data processing at the edge, the quicker we can complete our analysis and make decision.
I see. Now that's a very good point, and I think I fully agree with you. I think in the next few years, you're going to see a lot of real-time machine learning applications, and to apply these models real time, you need the edge computing, to apply it real time.
Exactly.
So I think that's where the importance comes in, and I think that's going to be, I think, almost like a shift, from a lot of these static models that we've had before to more dynamic models real time as they happen, because companies were like, well, I don't want to apply this knowledge 6 months or 2 months after the well was drilled or completed. I want to be able to apply this knowledge real time. So I think that's where you said the edge computing would have a huge kind of like importance in the next few years, right?
Absolutely. And I think we are going that direction, and big companies also, I think they have notified that, and we will see more actually about edge computing in future.
Okay. No, that's great. That's great. Okay. And then, so with that, we're talking about the cloud computing and the edge computing. I always think about disruption. I like everybody loves an underdog story.
Yeah.
Who's going to come out and disrupt some of these technologies, such as the business model of Amazon, the business model of Microsoft, the AWS and the Azure. So do you think there's going to be a major disruption to the business models of some of the major companies that have invested so much capital, so much money, in let's just say in AWS and Azure and so on and so forth?
Uh, okay, so AWS, Azure, they have a wide diversity of applications and they're extremely innovative.
Mhm.
So they have many strong IoT infrastructures as well, right? Uh, I think, I mean, it's really hard for companies or people to basically uh, either question the direction they are going or their technologies or comment on anything or predict actually what they would do. But I think the answer to your question is what I already gave you in the previous question. They will need a strong edge component to be added to their services if they want to stay being successful, is my opinion.
I see.
And for the same reason that I explained in the last question.
I see. I see. That's a very good point. Okay. Okay. And then I guess for someone, interested in the field and they really want to get started, what kind of advice do you have for, fresh college graduates, or people that really want to get into it? They feel very excited about the opportunity and very fascinated by this whole hype that we see within the data science field. As somebody who has a lot of experience in this field and who has done worked on like multiple projects with different companies and and different employees. What are your thoughts? What kind of advice do you have for fresh college graduates, or even somebody who just wants to get started on that?
Do you mean if they want to work in the data science field or
Correct.
overall?
If they want to
Yes.
work in the data science field, yeah.
Okay. I think I have two main recommendations for them, and typically, I mean, when the students ask me, I mean, for advice, I typically give them these two basically advice.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, master yourself in data science by getting plenty of practical training and internships beyond the coursework.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how many certificates you have. Honestly, if somebody wants to be hired up in my company and they put on the table 10 certificates, I won't hire them.
Right.
Because I don't like people who are certificate oriented. It doesn't mean anything. Having a certificate doesn't mean you have the knowledge.
Right.
Try to master yourself, right? Read about it.
Mm-hmm.
Exercise, and hard work is the key.
Mm-hmm.
Also, on-job training by an experienced mentor is always the way to start a career, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell people, attending 2-3 days course or even 2 weeks or 3 weeks course is not enough to go back to your computer and start doing the job, right? You still need to get on-job training, because there's another story. When you get close to operations, to practical applications, you might actually end up with different approaches than those you learn in courses and stuff, right? Number two, do not trust algorithms, specifically if you're working in data science. There are a lot of domain expertise going into the analysis. Learn about the domain you are working in, regardless of how good you are with data science approaches.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that because we are continuously hiring like data science people. I told you we want to mix them with our domain expert to basically leverage our capability.
Mm-hmm.
People in data science, right? They actually don't have that much interest to work in domains that they don't feel comfortable. It's out of their comfort zone. They prefer to work with Google. They prefer to work with Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to attract them to the fields which they're not comfortable with. But if they really want to work for oil and gas industry, they need to read books and at least get the basic information about the oil and gas. It really helps them to leverage, their skills working in our domains.
Yeah, no, very good points. Very good points. And I totally agree with you. I think just going beyond the coursework, online training is really the key. And a lot of times, what I tell people is, like, instead of just going right into just using Python or R or whatever programming language that you use, first, read some books on the fundamentals and learn the fundamentals of the different like algorithms prior to just going in and just blindly applying, the scikit-learn library or different like libraries just to apply to a problem, because then you have a good handle on what is happening behind the scene, but I think,
Exactly.
yeah, but I
That's a
think
good point.
very well taken. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then at the end, do you have any final thoughts for the first episode and that you'd like to share with us?
I think we covered several aspects of the topic, data science. Maybe I can just repeat some of my main points.
Yeah, sure.
Number one, data science approaches should be science informed, meaning that the result must make scientific sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Domain should be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
People need to understand the data before applying data science. That's important. Again, domain expertise goes to that. Not all the data can be modeled using off-the-shelf methods. Topology of the models could be game changer, to be honest. And the last point, be respectful to the community. If you are not a real data scientist, if you are not a real domain expert, stay away from it. Don't claim things that you are not able or you don't have skills to do. That's my last point.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're welcome to learn and study and really get up to speed. But, if you haven't really done any projects, don't claim that you're the expert, and so on and so forth, right? So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Great.
I hope we get to the point that everybody is skilled enough in the field of their work that they don't really need to change the title to get job, right?
Right.
We need to just master ourselves in what we are going to do. And it needs, the key to success, I believe, is passionate about what we do, hard work, hard work, hard work.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time. Thanks everybody for listening. This was again the first episode podcast of Obsertelligence, which focuses on data science and automation in the energy space. Please like and share the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and our LinkedIn pages. Again, Dr. Soroush, I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you, host. Thank you. I appreciate your time
for
and the
asking
interview.
questions, and hopefully we can bring you back on a podcast sometime soon again.
Sure. My pleasure. Thank you, host. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.